Can I now request our Secretary to introduce the Silver Jubilee Orator for the year 2012, please.
Dr. Naveen Thakkar is a brilliant example of an orthopedic surgeon who, not working in a teaching institution, can produce very good research papers. He is an example for all his colleagues. I am a personal witness to his record keeping. With a simple software, he is maintaining excellent records of his patient for the past 20 years. Not only those records have come several medical records. Here is the one in
Mike. It is attached with this one. Right side. Left side. So left side. It's on. It's on. It's on.
On. Next is right PS. Okay.
Respected Chairman and Secretary, thank you for your kind words. Good morning to everybody. I am going to share with you my experience of development of innovative implant assembly for unstable extracapsular proximal femoral fracture. These type of fractures are scoring problem day in day practice, particularly with elderly with osteoporosis, requiring early mobilization and assisted full weight bearing, which in turn requires higher biomechanical properties from the implant system. Additional lateral cortex instability in these cases adds to more problem, which is not described or classified in the literature. It leads to cutout, medial migration, lateral migration, or both, leading to complications and high reoperation rate and patient dissatisfaction. There is not much change in the fracture patterns, but there is a change in biomechanical understanding. These forces are acting in a different direction, different planes. They are large, dynamic and cyclic, even after reduction and fixation. While sitting from the bed, it generates very high force. You can see here the vector F, that is summation of Fz, Fx and Fy. Even with walking with the support, it generates the high force, and climbing the stair generates the 4 times the body weight, and the stumbling creates the highest force of 8 times the body weight. Anteversion of the femur is very important for loading. This has been demonstrated by Bergman. So in every movement, there is a flexion and extension of hip joint, and this leads to very high torsional varus bending and shear force at the head and neck junction and at the implant construct and the bone. And these forces, implant construct has to bear till the bone-to-bone contact and the union, where quality of reduction, choice of the implant, and the placement of implant is in the hand of the surgeon. Critical value of sufficient bone mass is 0.6 gram. It has been noted. These type of fractures are better treated with intramedullary implants. It has been proved. Anatomical reduction has a better flow transmission than non-anatomical reduction. Valgus is better than varus. It has proved biomechanically that intramedullary implants are better due to reduced lever arm, less telescoping, and it prevents middleization of shaft. Depth of the placement and the zone of the placement is very important, particularly with intramedullary implants, because it is dictated by the jig which the surgeon uses, and it makes the difficulty for the surgeon for the exact placement. Is it our limitation or acceptability? This group of the surgeons from the Spain has reported technical difficulty in rightly placing 2 screws in a small femoral neck. I found it even more difficult with our Indian patient. So there was a need for a new desired design for our Indian patient. So we started studying CT scan data of the proximal femur of the Indian patient. We made a solid and mass models with the help of the engineers. We made computer instability models. We simulated the fracture patterns on a computer model. Model A and Model B with lateral cortex instability. We made different prototypes of implants on the computer and made an assembly and applied a force in it and made a finite element analysis, and certain observations were made, particularly focusing on day-to-day practice problems, technical, clinical problems. And certain technical changes were adapted from these observations in a new design, thinking that it may solve the problem. And it has been further validated by clinical trial. I will go one by one in detail. From CT scan data of the proximal femur, solid and mass models were created. Fracture pattern A, unstable fracture with lateral cortex relatively intact, and another model with the lateral cortex is broken very badly, which is unclassified in the literature. Different prototypes of the implants, DHS with TSP, gamma nail with one large screw, PFN AO design with two screws with a large proximal diameter with a single plane jig, PFN anti-rotation with a helical blade, gliding nail with I-beam configuration, and indigenous nail with a two-plane arrangement in the holes, 12.5 proximal femur diameter, triflange hip pin, buttress slit plate with the barrel was tested. These implants are grouped mainly on a neck element, design of the neck element, whether it's a screw thread design or it's a non-screw thread design. And other properties of the implant were compared, whether it is extramedullary, intramedullary, different constructs. We made an assembly on this with the bone models A and B, and they were applied, they were given material properties, different material properties to the different parts. And they are subject to the force in Fx, Fy, Fz planes, and the resultant vector F at 25-degree frontal plane, and that vector is translating symmetrically in anteroposterior direction, about 13 mm relative to femoral head apex. To simulate real environment, cyclic loading was applied with 150% to 300% body weight till 80,000 cycles. And rotational and varus migration of neck elements and axial migration of femoral neck elements, that is PF varus, proximal femur varus, proximal femur rotation, cutout cycles and migrations were noted. In model A, we saw that DHS design show least stability with rotational instability like this, varus instability with cutout, and also the medial displacement like this. It was compared with DHS TSP, gamma nail, PFN, PFN-A and gliding nail. They show better stability, but adding the TSP with DHS show the better results. You can see here, the best stability is achieved with PFN-A and gliding, and in DHS comparison, TSP give a better stability. So this new design was also subjected with the same force, and it's compared with non-thread designs, PFN-A, gliding nail, and this desired design, and compared for rotation, varus, and cutout cycles. It has given a very good result comparable to PFN-A, little more than PFN-A and little less than gliding nail. In model A, model B, again this was repeated for rotational stability and varus stability and number of cycles. Additional lateral cortex stability so that in all these implants, number of cycles were reduced. And we also observed Z effect and reverse Z effect due to toggling of the nail. You can see here, with particularly helical implant, it doesn't show cutout. It is a good rotational stability, but there is a little varus and toggling lead to cut through in the head. Gliding nail also show very good stability, but little varus and little toggling. Now this new design with buttress slit plate additional was also subjected with the same loads and is competed for varus stability, rotational stability, and cutout cycles. You can see that this has performed best, aiding the lateral plate, lateral support, which was insufficient with the lateral cortex instability. It provided the stability, and it shows the minimum toggling, and there is no much displacement. These observations were made particularly focusing in these 4 problem areas of cut through, unwanted collapse pattern, difficulty in placement, and profile of implant mismatch. I will go one by one. We observed that rotational stability with the proximal fragment is dependent on shape of element and number of elements in the neck, keeping quality of bone, quality of reduction, and ideal placement of implant as a constant. We found that known thread designs had more cutout cycles than the screw thread design. Same way, 2 is better than the 1 as a neck element, though there is a difficulty to the surgeon for placement of the 2 elements in the neck with the Indian proximal femur dimension. So we thought that the gliding nail design IBM is the best, but due to manufacturing problem, we developed a tri-flange pin like this, where the proximal part 40 mm is tri-flange. It gives very good rotational stability. It supports well flat at the calcar. It is flat here. It prevents cut through at the superior flat, and it has a better grip due to compaction of bone, and it is toothed. That's why it gives better rotational stability. It allows augmentation with the bone cement. Second problem area was the unexpected collapse pattern. This is a very complex issue, and it involves multiple variables. But keeping quality of bone, quality of reduction, and ideal placement of implant as a constant, we found that lateral cortex instability is the very major factor, major variable for deciding the prediction of failure. In this condition, this type of fracture, there is nothing to support lateral. There is no stable platform for the collapse, and there is no smooth continuous sliding barrel to have a smooth gliding of hip pins. And it is further violated by surgeon by larger hip screw drilling. So when the surgeon makes the drill hole here, it is irregular. So the tunnel which has been drilled is irregular. Whenever the load is placed, little varus changes that axis of the collapse, and it abates at this place. So there is no continuous surface. Leads to jet pattern, reverse jet pattern, or a middle displacement, which has been very well reported in the literature. So we provided novel idea to do not harm the lateral cortex, to preserve the lateral cortex by small pins and a small diameter proximal nail when it is precarious. And when it is already damaged, it gives a complete lateral support with the butter slit plate, with the barrels gives the uniform continuous contact. So it is a stability with collapsibility. Third problem area is the difficulty in placement with the Indian bone dimension. This we observed during the modeling of the implant and jig, that the jigs are single plane jigs and nail holes are also single plane. Proximal nail dimensions are mismatching, and the distance between the holes, large pins, and the obstructive imaging is creating problem for the surgeon. You can see that the jigs provided are single plane jigs, and the plane of the center of the head and the plane of the center of the shaft is in a different plane. The jig is in the same plane. So to target the center of the head, surgeon has to rotate the jig externally to exactly place the implant neck elements in the center. But on rotating the jig, the distal locking comes posterolateral to anteromedial. At the same time, rotating the jig, the nail rotates inside, and it exactly comes at the anterolateral cortex, leading to pointing effect and stress riser and a thigh pain and fracture later on. So we devised a two-plane arrangement. You can see here, proximal holes are in the different plane and distal holes are in different plane in both jig and the nail. So it gives a precise placement in the center, which is very important for a construct. You can see here one example, pre-operative 3D reconstruction, post-operative 3D reconstruction. You can see here how beautifully the anteversion is maintained. So it gives the equal distribution of forces like an intake form and a controlled collapse. We have reduced the proximal diameter to 12.5 mm. So it avoids the heterogenic centering of the trochanter. It gives a minimal injury to the abductor function. It matches with the Indian proximal dimension, more room to the entry for the surgeon, and there is no displacement on reduction. And more importantly, it preserves 26% more bone stock, which is very vital for union. Distance from the tip of the nail to the proximal hole and the distance in between these holes is adjusted in such a way that the inferior pin happens exactly at the calcar. At the same time, superior pin is avoided in the superior quadrant to prevent the cut through like this. And it gives technically ease to the surgeon for a placement. Compact jig with the two-plane arrangement does not obstruct the imaging, and it is minimally invasive too. The fourth problem area, it has been noted in the literature also, that the straight nail in the curved canal gives rise to anterior thigh pain, fracture shaft femur at the nail end, and also difficult distal locking due to deformation of the distal end. We saw during the modeling the lower end exactly touches here, and further external rotation of the jig makes it to touch here. You can see here example. So we made a two-plane curvatures. Even the distal end is given curvature to avoid this problem. And this is also avoided placement distal locking with this anti-curvature. So there is no deformation of the distal end. After these technical changes, 220 patients were enrolled with this inclusion and exclusion criteria. Clinical and radiological assessment was done preoperatively. Patients were operated on a fracture table with minimal adduction in the jig and the nail in a group A. And a group B, additional buttress slit plate was passed minimally invasive. After passing the nail pins, on pins this slit will have placed. You can see one example. Lateral cortex is broken very badly, and there is also posteromedial combination, how the plate is placed. And at the end, broken trochanter is also been reconstructed with the wire. You can see here. Outcome measurements, radiological and clinical measurements were done at regular time frame intervals. Neck shaft angle, horizontal hip offset, neck length, fracture gap, quality of reduction, zone of the placement, and the depth of the placement for the superior pin, that is TAD superior and TAD inferior, and summation was noted. During follow-up, patients were checked for the intensity of pain, early mobility by time off and go test, that is the TUG test, and Parker and Palmer mobility score was noted. 263 patients were screened. 220 patients were enrolled. And out of that, they were divided into group A, where 187 patients were enrolled, and group B, 33 patients. After follow-up, after mortality, the patients analyzed in group A is 160 and in group B 32. Majority female with average age 65 years with comorbidity and pre-injury PPMS score and grades of osteoporosis noted. Systemic complications were noted. Mortality was noted. And particularly complications related to the implant were noted. Technical failures intraoperatively, loss of reduction on insertion of the nail, open reduction clamp assisted whether it was required, setting of the trochanter, distal rimming, extension of the fracture, difficulty in placement through the jig, inability to insert two neck elements, difficulty in distal locking. Post-operatively, hip pin cutout, Z defect, reverse Z defect, varus deformity leading to disability, pointing effect requiring the reoperation, and mechanical failures were also noted. And it is compared with the series which has been published in the literature. We found that it has a reduced technical complications and reoperation rates. One complication, pointing effect, excessive curvature. Even with the curved nail, we had to remove it earlier after the union. Another case with J defect, proximal migration, pin was removed, and this is the final function. Another case with lateral migration of the pin. Fracture gap was kept like this on table. So it collapsed like this and it has united like this. Another case of delayed union. All the patients got union within 14 weeks except one case where 24 weeks where the static locking was done. Triflange was not used because it was dropped by the staff. So cannulated cancel screws were used and with it has a union with the secondary varus. Group B patients took more time than the group A patients for early mobility. But majority of the patients regained their pre-operative mobility by PPMS score. This is one example, unstable situation. It has given an optimal stability, you can see here. And it reacts effectively and dynamically to cyclic loads. You can see here how beautifully it has collapsed here. And it has collapsed here also in the distal interlocking. So it gives the controlled collapse and this is the clinical result. Another example, unstable fracture, reverse oblique fracture and controlled desired collapse. And this is the clinical result. Another example with lateral cortex instability. It has been treated with this implant assembly with the plate and at the 12 weeks of the post-op, it has united and good function. It has given a reproducible results in the hands of this surgeon. This idea has been patented with the Indian Patent Office and international patent application is in process. International Search Authority of the Patent has given a favorable comment that such two-plane arrangement will certainly improve the fitting to the patient and improve the healing process of the patient and improve the end result. Such a development of implant assembly is not derivable from the available prior art and is therefore considered to involve an inventive step. So this design has fulfilled the expectation of the surgeon. It allows the augmentation. It avoids the injury to the lateral wall, trochanter, and the abductor mechanism. So it's biologically minimally invasive. It avoids the displacement on the entry. Surgeon has a choice to have a rotational and varus stability, continuous stability, and the shear stress stability, and also the lateral wall stability along with it. So there is a continuous stability with controlled, guided, limited collapse. And the surgeon has ease for a placement, for ideal placement, because the placement of the implant is very important factor for a result. It matches with the proximal femur dimension of the Indian patient. So it is tactically reproducible for an average surgeon and it is cost effective for patient. So at the end, the purpose of this study was to identify the problem areas in the fixation of unstable extracapsular fractures of the proximal femur with the help of the finite element analysis, particularly focusing on difficulties in day-to-day in getting the continuous stability with dynamicity leading to high rate of reoperation. Second step was to develop novel desired design of two-plane intramedullary nail and a jig with the triflange hip pins along with buttress slit plate matching the Indian patients, and then to use this novel device in this study to answer the hypothesis. We think that this novel implant assembly has primarily reduced technical complexity to the surgeon and preoperative and postoperative technical complications, peroperative and postoperative technical complication has been reduced. Rate of reoperation due to fracture fixation problems is also reduced significantly in a comparison to studies mentioned in the literature. Secondarily, it has provided better functional outcome and the patient satisfaction. There are certain limitations of this study also. Quality of the bone, reduction quality, and the placement of implant was kept idle with finite element analysis. And finite element analysis, the analysis was done for immediate post-operative model. Importance of callus during the loading cycle cannot be simulated on a computer. So this is a limitation. Simulation on a computer cannot give exactly the same biomechanical environment, complex loading patterns in a different ethnic group of patients. So it is an approximation of the force and approximation of things, but it gives idea when you cannot subject the human for the study for this mechanical aspect. Non-collapsible implants are not tested, that DCS, angle blade plate, proximal logic plate. There is no compare groups in this clinical study, but reviewing the literature, we found that lateral cortex instability models or lateral cortex instability with unstable fracture has not been described or classified in the literature, and it has been studied separately. Or such type of two elements in the neck other than the thread design has not been studied. All neck elements other than the thread design, helical or it's a spiral blade or something like that, that has been tested gliding, everyone tested with the one single implant, and with this proximal diameter of Indian bone has not been studied. However, for further validation, with the help of Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad, and Center for Innovation of Incubation and Entrepreneurship, multi-center randomized control study of desired design, a new nail assembly and other device for unstable proximal femur fracture is under discussion and preparation, as I am incubating there. I would like to thank late Professor Dr. Balu Sankaran for providing data from his past study when I visited him in St. Stephen Hospital in 2003. I like to thank all my patients who allowed me to implant this, and they cooperated well in the study. I would like to thank Professor Rangwala, Head of Department Applied Mechanics, LD College of Engineering, Ahmedabad, and other faculties for the engineering help. IIM Ahmedabad, Center for Innovation and Incubation and Entrepreneurship, and their networking partners, National Institute of Design at Paladi, they help a lot. IIT Powai, Mumbai for suggestion help. They have a very good networking with these all faculties. Whenever you have a problem, they give you a suggestion. I would like to thank my teacher, Professor Dr. Pankaj Divetia, my senior colleagues, Dr. Yudhishthir Dave. He first demonstrated DHS failure in a bone model, in a cadaveric bone model, and Dr. Jawar Jetwa for helping me continuously giving ideas. I would like also thank India Hot Google Group members, particularly for sharing their cases and ideas during conversation regularly since 2002. I would like to thank my family members, my wife Dr. Purvi, my daughters Pruha, my son Purvin, for parting their family time for this project. I would like to thank Indian Orthopedic Association and organizers of IOCAN for providing me this opportunity to share my experience of this new development with you. And I also thank you all for your kind listening. Thank you.
Looking at the excellent Golden Jubilee and Silver Jubilee Awards of this year,
Come in the center.
I'm sure that all of us feel that the aim of the association in instituting these awards a few years ago has been completely fulfilled. And it's also a strange coincidence that both of you mentioned Dr. Balachandran. We really miss him, one of the greatest researchers of our time. And even though it is inappropriate for me to mention this without putting it in the GB tomorrow, I do not think it's wrong to mention that the NCUB committee has already approved yesterday that we should institute a medal in the name of Dr. Balachandran. It's a honor for the association for the best paper submitted to the category of Basic Science and Research Awards. Congratulations again for your original.
Thank you.